Krishna Guadalupe, while accomplishing a number of professional achievements, a BA, an MSW, and a PhD, he's also an author of several books, national and international workshop facilitator, CMT, Kundalini yoga instructor, oneness blessing giver, which is also called Diksha, for those of you that are familiar with Diksha, the laying of hands. Yeah. Krishna stresses that his most imperative transformation has been influenced by his commitment to purposely live, learn, laugh, and love. His role as a father to three magnificent souls, Isaiah, Elijah, and Rihanna, is it Rihanna? Yeah, has fostered a journey into the heart of remembrance. 4 principles can briefly describe his teaching approach: attention and intention, gratitude and forgiveness, reflection and action. Please put your hands together and welcome a good friend, Krishna Guadalupe.
So great to be here. I feel so honored, JG, that you invited me to be here. I'm constantly nervous when I speak in front of people, and I'm constantly speaking in front of people. So it just keeps me humble to the notion that I do not know what I do not know, and yet I continue to learn. I'm very honored to see many of you here, especially some sisters that I have not seen for a while. Severe, thank you. Thank you for showing up. You have been one of my greatest teachers. So I just want to say that. I would like to start with a very brief story that my dad, Walking Eagle, once said to me. There was 2 men. And these 2 men, they wanted to grow. And so they decided to go to the forest with the intention of expanding, connecting, as so beautifully was indicated by Jennifer. So one sat on a rock and waited. The other one began to dance. And as he began to dance, he began to hear the birds sing very differently than ever before. Very differently. He began to see things switching, shifting, moving, and began to connect beyond the capacity that he had ever had. The other one, sitting down on the rock, began to experience change, but not the change that he was expecting. He began to feel weak. He began to age in a very rapid way. As he observed the men that danced, branches were growing from his hand, his back. He was approaching the heavens. Now he stopped the story there. Then he asked, what are we learning from this story? And obviously there's so many lessons that come with stories, but this one has 2 major ones that are related to 2018. One of them is that there's a difference between change and transformation. Change is constant and inevitable. We can sit here and we will change. It doesn't require anything. Transformation is optional. It requires a degree of attention, a degree of intention that will direct our pathways of intentionality. Another thing that comes from the story is that everything is in vibration. Everything vibrates, but everything is not in alignment. And I think the previous speakers so beautifully indicated it. Severe and Jennifer and JG, in terms of just because something is vibrating, it doesn't mean that it's in alignment. So 2018, one of the things that were coming to me as I was praying, meditating, is that it will require for us to know the difference between change and transformation. Obviously, some of us are already have already begun to explore that and to understand that there's movement. Movement needs to happen. And the beautiful part is that movement sometimes comes in the form of surrendering. Surrendering is active. It's not passive. And movement will also come in the form of not surrendering without withdrawing. Still showing up to whatever it is. Whatever will come. One of the things that I've been seeing in my life, and just to share a little bit about me, I grew up being very quiet, introvert. Believe it or not, I teach at the university now, and I do workshops. And people don't believe when they see me speaking, and introvert. Yeah, I was very introvert growing up, to the point that when I was in, my father died when I was in first, second grade. And I became more introvert. That doesn't mean that I was alone. I have imaginary friends. And so as I was this introvert, many people began concern. And so I went into the psychologist, psychiatrist, and you name it. And one of the things that I learned from this, now looking back, is that we are living many lives simultaneously. How we show up and how intentional we are when we show up is what will make the difference. Mahatma Gandhi put it so beautifully when he said, action without reflection or contemplation was the word that he used, is blind. And I would like to add something to that. Contemplation without action is waste. So balance becomes important for how we face 2018. How do we balance surrendering? How do we balance standing forward? Being quiet, as JG was saying at the beginning, silence. And when to say enough is enough. One of the things that I've been noticing in my life is that I engaging in a practice that promotes discomfort is important for me. Engaging in a practice that promotes discomfort. I don't know if you know what an ego dancer is. An ego dancer is someone who dances for the people and dances for himself, herself. And the ritual is it's a very interesting ritual. Some people may call it masochism. I call it being in harmony. Part of the ritual, and this is where it comes that, transformation doesn't come without discomfort and challenge. So when we look at 2018, it becomes important to know how ready, how willing, how committed am I to be in the discomfort. As an ego dancer, you basically go 4 days, 3 nights without water or food. But that's the easy part. You also appears, and you connected to a tree, praying to the great Creator, praying for the people, praying for yourself. And those have been the moments that I have found that the most transformation have taken place in my life. I grew up with big triangles: poverty, violence, addiction. So I know those well. I know poverty very well. Violence, I was that kid that was very angry because I needed to pretend to be somebody else. So I needed to somehow escape or attempt to escape. When you in Rome do like the Romans. So in attempting to escape, that created so much anger in me. Drugs, you name it, I will tell you what they do. So it's an interesting one that, one of the things that I see in going back to the story is that the difference between change and transformation has been so vivid, so relevant to everything that I have experienced. When I sit, I do change, but perhaps not in the way that I wanted to. So what is the intention that we move? What is the intention that somehow allows us to move forward as a people, as a tribe? Not multiple tribes, as my partner was saying in a conversation, but one tribe. A tribe in which is not about agreements. Peace is not about agreements. Peace is about respecting our differences as we play together. That's what peace is about. It's not about you saying it, experience it like I do. As a matter of fact, I don't like that. Too many people like me drive me crazy. So I like to get a different flavor when I meet somebody that is different from me. How can I grow? There's a wonderful writer in the 1940s, Virginia Satir, and she always said, in our sadness we connect. Through our differences we grow. Me too, I pray for our president. I didn't like that he became a president. No, I didn't. But God makes no mistakes. We're not here by coincidence. So can I allow my heart to break open so that I could feel, so that I could be vulnerable enough, sense enough of what happens in my body when there's pain, so that yet I could enjoy and entertain the idea that perhaps I could celebrate when I'm in peace, when I enjoy. The same way that I could celebrate when my heart breaks open. One of the things that I've been struggling with, and Jennifer touched on this so beautifully, the hierarchy, this pyramid. But the sad part is that it's not just happening in the outside world, it's happening within the spiritual communities as well. The notion of I'm more spiritual than you. You're less spiritual than me. That continues to promote this sense of disconnectedness that we are all searching for. I mean, Dad always said, I don't know what I don't know, but I would like to continue to journey so that I discover what I'm here to learn. And one of the things that I find myself is, isolating myself at times from spiritual communities because of the notion of we cannot do it. Einstein put it so beautifully. We cannot transform with the same consciousness that created the problem. And if there's a pyramid in which there's so much have little and have not, and within spiritual community we're doing the same thing, it's just the same thing. It's a different context, but the same thing. So my hope for 2018 is that we begin to look into that. How do we disconnect in the name of Spirit? How do we disconnect in the name of the Spirit? I do believe that we have the potential of what it takes. I do believe that we have everything that it takes. And I do believe, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say, that peace is every step. Every step we take, we could take it toward peace. Now, I'm finding myself, and this is where I'm finding myself, at a T in which you could go to the right or you could go to the left. And that's how I see 2018. We have choices to make. And some of the choices is the notion of change, transformation. Everything is in vibration, but are we in alignment? That's some of the choices. Another choice is how do I show up? How do I surrender? How do I listen? As it was mentioned before, one of the things that I practice 6 principles. And they're very simple. And those are the principles that I wrote in the Journey into the Heart of Remembrance. And the way that book came about was because I was struggling with how do I, not what I want to achieve, what I want to do in the future, but how do I want to live? The rest will just unfold. It's not, do I want to graduate college? Do I want to buy a bigger house? Do I want to just... That was insignificant for me. What was significant for me is how do I want to show up in my relationships? How do I want to live intentionally? How do I want to see you like the avatar? Which pill do I want to take in terms of the matrix? Do I take the blue pill and go into the matrix? Or take the red pill and journey to transform the matrix? And this is obviously this is a choice that happens every moment, every day, every year, every instant, every interaction. I am a firm believer that no one stayed behind. I don't know who said it, probably Martin Luther King. As long as some people are oppressed, nobody's free. As long as some people are oppressed, nobody's free. So no one stayed behind. It is my responsibility, not for, but to my relatives, my brother, my sister, to continue to create the space. It is my responsibility to continue to show up, even when I don't like what is happening. It is my responsibility, because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? That's how I try to live. If I don't do it, who's going to do it? For the most part, we live in a society that belongs to somebody else. Somebody else will do it. Perhaps 2018 will give us an opportunity that is not somebody else's responsibility, it's mine. And how I show up, perhaps, will create the changes that we need. I mean, we know historically, when we look at history books, every big movement began with small groups of people. Small groups of people. What happened here? The prayers that go into not just the community, but the universe. Each of us touching 3 people, the pay it forward kind of mentality. That we all have what it takes. It's whether or not we, 1, believe it, and 2, engage. So again, when Mahatma Gandhi said, action without reflection is blind, I definitely would like to add another line to that. We can reflect forever, but if we don't take action, our reflection was wasted. That's my perspective. I do see that we go into moments of forgetfulness and remembrance. So this is not about perfection. No one is perfect. So I think, I believe it was Subir that mentioned the notion of being imperfect and being all right with that. I mean, if you want to know how imperfect I am, you ask my kids. They will tell you. And they will tell you with absolute no holding back. No holding back. If you want to know how imperfect I am, you ask my partner. I am one of the most imperfect men, but I live with intentionality. So I think, in ending, for me, is the remembering that life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. It's not a problem. We live in the mystery, And perhaps what Jennifer indicated, we already whole and we had just forgotten. We already heal, and the mind is the one playing the game. So it comes down to that for me in terms of how well do we show up? How much do I go into this dance of remembrance and forgetting? And it's still okay. When I forget, the Buddha put it so beautifully when the Buddha said, it's not how often you fall down, but how quick can you stand up. It's about showing up. It's about surrendering and not withdrawing. It's about the difference between change and transformation. It's about enjoying and recognizing that everything is in vibration, but am I in alignment with that which is being vibrating? So for me, the way that I do it is by going back to those 6 principles. Attention and intention. Where's my attention? And do I want my attention to be there? Or do I need to redirect my attention so that I can create a different intention? Gratitude. Being grateful for my heart breaking open. I don't know if my partner will be okay with this, but I'm going to share it because it's coming through. My partner broke up with me 4 times within the first month that we started dating. 4 times.
Only 4?
Only 4. And for me, it was to be honest, it was one of those things that, not about conquer, because I wasn't about conquer. It was about, okay, so I'm feeling, thank you, bring it in. And I even said to my partner, thank you for allowing my heart to break open. Because vulnerability is powerful. And I know Severe was talking about it. The moments that I feel the most vulnerable is the moment that I feel the most grounded. I sense. So then it becomes a matter of, am I in attention to what is happening so that I can set my intention? Can I be grateful for the pain of the world? Yes. Do I like it? No. But can I be grateful for the pain that I experience? Yes. That was part of the agreement. While that was part of the agreement, the other part of the agreement is that I'm responsible to find ways to transform it. So I'm in a playground, playing with each of you. You are me and I am you kind of a thing. So we all play in this playground. So gratitude for pain, gratitude for joy, forgiveness. And like I said before, peace is not about agreements. It's about respecting differences while we are in communion, while we're playing together. Because I don't want 2 people like myself. I will go crazy, definitely. So reflection, we are constantly reflecting. Now, how we are reflecting becomes the question. Are we in alignment with what I call the great mystery, great creator? Some people will call it God, Krishna, Buddha, whatever the name may be, essence. Are we in that alignment as JG was talking about in terms of this is what's coming from me, as he was sharing at the beginning. So the notion, the importance of, what do I do when I wake up? Am I grateful? Am I reflective that I have a roof, that I have a bed? And not because I just have these things, but because from that place I could create. And then obviously action. Silence is important, and silence is an action from time to time. And it's important. But equally important is, what do I do when I see a homeless person walking in the street? My brother, my sister. What do I do? Do I turn my back away from that? Or do I see it? There's pain and there's also opportunity. Opportunity to serve. And I don't know if it was Mother Teresa who said it, but she said, I think it was Mother Teresa who said, in order to find myself, in order to find ourselves, we should lose ourselves in service. We are all here to serve. And by serving, we get served. Thank you.